The path of knowledge is the way to Jannah. The path of knowledge is the way to Jannah.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen. Amma ba'd. Fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaytanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. As-salatu wassalamu alayka ya Rasulallah wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Habiballah. As-salatu wassalamu alayka ya Nabiyallah wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Noorallah. Dear viewers and listeners of Madani Channel, welcome back to another episode on the silsila Pathway of Knowledge. And for those who always join us, continue to do so. Those who are new to the silsila, we discuss different aspects and angles of knowledge of ilm itself. Alhamdulillah, thus far we have covered various topics. But before we get into that, please do make good intentions. Because remember, the beloved Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam has stated, Niyatul mu'mini khayrun min amalihi. The intention of a believer is better than his action. Subhanallah. So make good intentions. Make the intention that I will listen to the silsila from beginning to end for the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal and Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. I will make a note of the important points. I will try to practice upon them. I will try to teach them to my family members, my parents, my spouse, my children, my siblings, or other family members, other Muslims in society, inshallah Azza wa Jal. Whatever other good intentions you can think of, make it now to gain maximum rewards and thawab from Allah Azza wa Jal. As we mentioned, we had covered various topics and angles of knowledge itself. Take for example, what should be the intention when we are seeking knowledge of deen? And why we are saying knowledge of deen? Because from all the knowledges that are out there, all the different sciences, knowledge of deen is priority, is right at the top. And remember, we as Muslims, before I am a doctor or an accountant or an engineer, mechanic, whatever it is, before I'm a businessman, I'm a Muslim first. I am a Muslim first. And the duty of a Muslim is to know his deen, to know her deen, to practice it with the good intentions as well. Therefore, knowledge of deen is priority. And we need to make our children's minds as well. We need to make our youth's minds as well. That don't just send them to school and university, but also make sure they have a good footing, that the foundation of deen is strong in their lives. Then inshallah they will grow up as good Muslims and practical Muslims, inshallah Azza wa Jal, following the sunnah of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, following the commands of Allah Azza wa Jal, inshallah Azza wa Jal. If we don't implement our knowledge, if we don't practice about what we learn, even from this silsila or any of the silsilas on Madani Channel, because Madani Channel is the electronic muballigh, the electronic preacher, preaching the true values of Islam and making our minds to practice, not just to learn. It is as a doctor learns for so many years, he studies. He studies to get the degree, or he studies further to get his master's or PhD. He becomes a professor. But that knowledge will never benefit him if he does not practice on it. If he does not implement it, it cannot benefit. He'll never benefit himself and he will never benefit others. Similarly, and actually more important than this, is knowledge of deen. If we practice, then we will taste the sweetness of it. And this will come with hard work, my dear viewers and listeners of Madani Channel. When we are learning, learn to sacrifice, because intention is important, yes. This is number one. That you learn ilm deen. In fact, whatever you're learning with the good intentions. Even if you're learning the secular or the worldly studies, learning with good intentions, that I will learn this, I will get a good job, I will get a good salary, and I will help the deen as well. Subhanallah. Then you have rewards for this. But do it with good intentions. And especially when you're seeking ilm al-deen, knowledge of deen, then do it with the intention to please Allah Azza wa Jal, to please Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and to get thawab in the court of Allah Azza wa Jal. And to do it with the intention that I will try to practice properly my salah, my wudu, my ghusl, whatever else it is. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. As we mentioned, when we are learning ilm-ud-deen, knowledge of deen, it is very important that a student must work extremely hard and smart as well, and remain punctual upon this. Because remember, hard work, persistence, enthusiasm, these are necessary qualities and things that a student needs. So those who are students of deen especially, don't forget these things. That work persistently. Don't let the wasawis and the evil whispers of shaitan enter into our hearts and our minds and chase us away from this direction. We will be the losers at the end. Remain steadfast. Istiqamat. As is mentioned, al-istiqamatu fawqa al-karama. That steadfastness, to remain punctual, is greater than any miracle, is more valued and actually more difficult than any miracle. To perform those miracles is easy compared to being steadfast on the deen, to establish your 5 daily salahs, to fast properly in the month of Ramadan, to perform your salahs properly, to be punctual on the sunnah. This is more difficult, but more rewarding than any miracle out there. Allah Azza wa Jal has stated in the glorious Qur'an, Surah Ankabut, verse 69, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. Translation from Kanzul Iman. And those who strove in our way, we shall surely show them our paths. Subhanallah. Furthermore, in Surah Maryam, verse 12, Ya Yahya khudil kitaba biquwwah. Translation from Kanzul Iman, O Yahya, hold on to the book firmly. Subhanallah. There's a famous saying, Man talaba shay'an wajadda wajada wa man qara'a al-baba walajja walajja. Meaning, whoever sought something and worked hard for it, he will find it. Whoever knocked on a door and persisted, he will enter it. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Similarly, a wise man once said, بِقَدْرِ مَا تَتَمَنَّى تَنَالُ مَا تَتَمَنَّى. The amount you desire something, you will gain what you desire. Subhanallah. The more effort you put in, the more effort you invest in seeking knowledge of deen, the more sacrifices you make, the greater will be your output. What you put in is what you get out. If you are going to plant just one seed, then yes, you will get much more. But if you are going to plant 10 seeds, then you can compare that and you can understand. It is said that in order to seek something or understand it, there is a need for the efforts of 3 people. To understand something, there is a need for 3 people to put their efforts in. And who are those 3 people? The student himself or herself, the teacher, and the parents. Sayyidina Shaykh Sa'id-ud-Din Shirazi rahmatullahi alayhi once recited some wise verses written by the great Imam Shafi'i rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi. And he says, effort brings close every matter which is far, and effort opens all the closed doors. Amongst the creation of Allah Azza wa Jal, the one who is most afflicted with grief and a tightened life is the one who is hard working and full of spirit. Amongst the proofs of Allah Azza wa Jal's judgment and His command is the hard condition of a wise man and the prosperity of a foolish man. Through the granting of intelligence, the intelligent person is deprived of prosperity. 2 opposite entities, intelligence and prosperity, cannot gather together. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Dear viewers and listeners of Madani Channel, another very, very important aspect of knowledge is adab, is good manners, is respect. And we covered this in one of our previous episodes, that respect should be for your teacher, respect must be for the parents, and if you're a student of deen, besides respect for your teacher, respecting your books, respecting your stationery. Even the pen that you are taking your notes with must be respected. The books that you are writing in, the books that you are studying, do not just throw them anywhere. Don't even keep them on the floor. We should try not to do this. Try not to even keep any object on top of the books. This is a sign, it can be a sign of disrespect according to the intentions. Respect yourself. Respect your fellow colleagues, your fellow students, those who are your friends in class. Respect even the building that you are studying in, the madrasa that you are studying in. Respect the walls. Do not violate the rights of the place you are studying by vandalizing, by writing on the walls, or by breaking anything from any furniture, etc. Then you are showing disrespect, ultimately to knowledge itself. Because through this, through the facility of being there, if you disrespect that, you are disrespecting knowledge. If you disrespect your teacher, if you disrespect yourself, if you disrespect your books, this kind of disrespect is actually and ultimately disrespect of knowledge. May Allah Azza wa Jal save us from this. And our deen, this beautiful deen of Islam, it is a complete and comprehensive way of life. It teaches us adab. It teaches us good manners in every facet of our life. From the time we wake up. In fact, our deen teaches us, if you want to sleep, how do you sleep? If you want to live, if you want to eat, if you want to drink water, if you want to walk, if you want to talk, anything. Every aspect and facet of life, this beautiful deen, this complete and comprehensive way of life teaches us this. And this is enshrined in the blessed Sunnah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. What is the Sunnah? It is the perfect and most practical, most simple way of life, subhanallah. This is how our beloved Rasul Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam lived his blessed life. And we should do the same. Alhamdulillah Azza wa Jal, Dawat Islami is a global movement of Quran and Sunnah, non-political and a propagation movement that is working very hard, which is working globally across the world, in all countries of the world, or in most countries of the world. In fact, the message of Dawat Islami, especially via Madani Channel, has reached more than 188 countries of the world, subhanallah. Madani Channel, as you are watching now, is the electronic muballigh of Dawat Islami, electronic preacher. And like this, many other activities have been set up by Dawat Islami in the form of Madrasatul Madina, which is a madrasa for students, for children, so they can read the Quran, so they can study the Quran, do hifz and memorize the Quran. Madrasatul Madina for adults as well, for Islamic brothers, for Islamic sisters. This is also separate classes, which is there. Madrasatul Madina online, which is provided as well. And remember, all these services are absolutely free of charge. Then we have Darul Madina, the Islamic schooling system of Dawat Islami. We have Jami'atul Madina, which has more than 100 Jami'at in the world today, where boys and girls separately are studying Al-Madin. They're becoming ulama, alima, alim. They're becoming muballigh, muballighas. And in between, many other courses are being offered. Therefore, I will request you, join Dawat Islami. Believe me, it's for our benefit. Dawat Islami is giving us this platform where we can learn our deen in an easy environment, in a good environment, and we can practice on this and share it with others as well. Because remember, the steps of knowledge is not just seeking the knowledge, but more than this, it's understanding it correctly, it's implementing, it's practicing on it, and sharing it with others, teaching it to others. So in this mahol, this Madani mahol, this Madani environment of Dawat Islami, there is constant encouragement to learn and to teach and to learn. It's an ongoing thing. So here as well, we need to sacrifice some of our time at least and learn our deen. Alhamdulillah, Maktabatul Madina, the bookshop of Dawat Islami is there, publishing books in their hundreds or thousands every month. Visit our website, dawatlami.net, and you can download books free of charge, subhanallah. Very informative, very educational as well. Therefore, effort must be put in. Without effort, we can't get nothing. It is mentioned in a couplet that there are many slaves out there who are like free people because of their efforts, because of the hard work they put in. And there are many people out there, free people, free men, who are like slaves because of their laziness, because of their heedlessness and their negligence. Allah Azza wa Jal save us from this. Ameen. It is mentioned that if you desire to become a jurist or a debater without struggling, then this is your insanity. And when wealth cannot be acquired without hardship, and you bear hardship for it, then how can knowledge be acquired without hardship? Something to think about. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Staying awake during the nights is also extremely important for a student. As you see today, those who are writing the exams, the worldly exams, in school, in college, in university, even those in madrasa, in Jamiatul Madina, ask them. They are busy burning the midnight oil. They are staying late. Some of them only sleep an hour or 2 hours. But they stay awake late at night going over their notes, going over their work. So this aspect as well shows the effort of the student, that you are staying awake and you're going over your notes, not engaging in unnecessary talking and wasting time. Dear viewers and listeners of Madani Channel, remember, every word that we talk, every action that we do, it is recorded in our book of deeds. Don't forget this. This is a lesson. This is something for us to think about. I think about this as well, and I will encourage you as well think about it. That whatever letter is coming out of my mouth, whatever action that I'm doing, it's written down. And when my book of deeds, Nama-e-Amal, is given to me, will I receive it in my right hand or my left hand? In my right hand I will be successful. In my left hand I'm in trouble on the day of judgment. And we will have to stand individually. Each person will be called out by his name, by her name. And we will stand in front of the whole creation. And it will be commanded, now read out what you did, what you said. Think about it. What is the condition of our lives? How are we leading and living our lives? In accordance with what Allah Azza wa Jal wants, with what Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam wants, or with what Shaitan wants? Who are we pleasing through our actions, through our words? Are we pleasing Allah and His Rasul Azza wa Jalla wa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Or are we pleasing the enemy of Islam, the cursed and humiliated and disgraced Shaitan? Who are we pleasing? This every Muslim must ask themselves, please. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So as we mentioned, staying awake at night is also beneficial for the student, especially the student of deen. Remember, according to the amount of effort, you will gain high ranks, and the one who seeks high ranks stays awake at night. You aim for respect, then you sleep at night. The one who seeks pearls dives into the ocean. Elevation of your ranks is through high aims, and a person's respect is in the awakening of the night. The one who aims for high ranks without effort, he wastes his life seeking something which is not possible. It is the saying of a wise person, اتخذ الليل جملا تدرك به أملا. Be busy the whole night, you will receive your desires. Here as well, dear viewers and listeners of Madani Channel, if we truly want to benefit from this staying awake at night, then it can only be if we are studying ilm-e-deen. Anything else won't benefit us. Remember, whatever degrees we are getting, we are studying for, whether it's a degree or master's or PhD or whatever it is, diploma, certificate, those things will end when Malak al-Maut alayhi salam extracts the soul from our bodies. All these things will end. The only thing which will benefit us is our good deeds, our nekis. How much of this do we have? Ask ourselves. We are studying, we are spending so much of our lives from maybe the last 10, 15, 20 years. We are going to school, completing in matric, then we are getting into college, university, studying for a further 4 years or 5 years. If you calculate it, how much of time you are spending chasing the education of the world. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying give priority. The Islamic gives us this mindset that give priority to where it belongs. Because many have mixed the priorities. That we give priority solely to worldly education, which will benefit us if it does in this world only. But if we seek al-Madin, we will know how to perform our salah properly. We will know how to perform our wudu, our ghusl properly. We will know how to make tayammum. We will know the basic masail and rulings and issues of Islam. We will know about the Sunnah, how to eat, how to talk, as we mentioned already. But if we don't learn our deen, and we put all efforts, especially parents, the dear parents out there, this is a message for you as well, a message for me, that our children, how are we molding them? Have we introduced anything of deen in their lives? Have we taught them to eat with 3 fingers, to sit on the floor? Have we taught them these are the sunnats, the sunan of drinking water, of talking, of good manners? Have we taught them all these things? If not, we will be accountable. Because remember something, the father or the person, the man of the house, you are a shepherd. You are a shepherd to your flock, and your flock is your family. If you don't look after your flock, if you don't care and you turn a blind eye, what will happen? The wolves will come and will snatch the iman. Allah will save us and our families. Ameen. Whoever wishes that his desires are fulfilled, then he should spend his nights in order to gain them all. Again, coming back to effort. Decrease your food so that you can gain some benefit if you wish to gain some kind of perfection. A wise man once said, Man ashara nafsahu bil-layli faqad fariha qalbuhu bin-nahar. The person who keeps himself awake at night, then his heart is pleased during the day. O those who are students of deen, in order to seek knowledge, ilm, it is important that you learn during the early and latter part of the night. This is because the time between Maghrib and Isha, as well at the time of Sahri, before the dawn, pre-dawn, are both times of great blessings. A poet once said, Ya talib al-ilmi, bashiril wara'a, wa jannibin nawma, watrukish shiba'a. O student, hold on to piety, turn away from sleep, and turn away from eating a full stomach. Furthermore, he says, Dawim ala darsi, la tufariqhu, fal-ilmu bid-darsi, qama wartafa'a. Continue to learn through revision and discussion, and do not separate from this, as it is through this such learning that knowledge is established and raised. Eating a full belly, eating a stomach full, can have major consequences. Negative impact it will have on our physical self and spiritual self. Amir Ahl Sunnat, Shaykh al-Tariqat, Amir Ahl Sunnat, the founder of dawat Islami, Hazrat Allama Maulana Abu Bilal Muhammad Ilyas al-Tar Qadri Dam Barakatuhum al-Aliyah, who is the founder of dawat Islami, he has actually made our minds through different ways, even by writing a book, The Excellence of Hunger. Then what are the excellences of hunger itself? He has made our mind to try and eat less. If we follow the Sunnah method of eating, then believe you me, automatically we will be eating less, and we will be watching our diet as well. We will be watching all those negative foods, junk foods, whatever else it is out there. We will be watching our calories, how much we are gaining, how much we are losing. And we will not really need any type of diet plan, any type of major exercises that people do in the gyms, etc. If we follow the Sunnah accordingly, and not just one Sunnah, try to implement as many Sunnah as you can in our lives. This will have not just physical benefits, but the real maqsad and purpose, spiritual benefits. If you do it with the right intention, we'll be earning those rewards. We'll be earning that thawab for the hereafter, for the qabr itself, inshallah azza wa jal. So do it. Follow Sunnah to get the spiritual benefits and positivities that are there, to earn the pleasure of Allah azza wa jal and pleasure for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If we are doing it for any other reason, any other intention, just for the world, then we get nothing. So much of effort we are putting in, but we will get nothing if we are doing it with the wrong intentions and with the wrong motives as well. Allah Azza wa Jal grant us good intentions, inshallah Azza wa Jal. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Dear viewers and listeners of Madani Channel, indeed, a student should also ensure that he does not put himself through too much of hardship and should not place an extreme amount of burden upon himself, which will lead him being unable to do anything. Know your limit. He should be soft in regard to this matter, as softness is the origin of all things. The beloved Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam has stated in the summary of Hadith, be aware, this religion is strong. Walk on the path of the religion gently. Do not make the worship of Allah Azza wa Jal a burden upon yourselves. Our beloved Rasul, the owner of Jannah, the Prophet of creation, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, after mentioning these blessed words, then gave an example of a person who places a lot of goods on the back of his animal, due to which this animal becomes weak, and this person is separated from those who are traveling with him, and now his condition is such that he cannot cross the lands, nor can he keep his animal alive. The beloved Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam has stated that nafsuka matiyatuka farfuq biha. Your inner self, your nafs is your animal, therefore be gentle with it. A student needs to have strong convictions and aims when learning. Just as a bird needs its wings in order to fly high, a student needs strong aims in order to reach heights. It is mentioned in poetry that according to the strength of the convictions, you will reach the great matters, and according to the virtue of a person, he reaches nobility. Even the smallest of matters seem great in the eyes of the one who has little conviction, whilst even the greatest of matters seem small in the eyes of one who possesses great conviction. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. O student of Deen, in order to gain anything, strong conviction and struggling in this way is necessary. If a person has the conviction to memorize all of Imam Muhammad's books, for example, and he works extremely hard and he persists, this is his aim, then it is a certain fact that if he is not able to memorize the book word to word, he will at least be able to memorize the majority, most of the book, or at least half. If, however, a person has great aims, but he does not work hard, he does not put the effort in to fulfill these aims, or he works hard, but does not have any aim, any direction, then both of these kinds of people will not gain anything but a little amount of knowledge. The great Shaykh Radiuddin Naishapuri rahmatullahi alayhi has mentioned a beautiful incident in his book Makarimul Akhlaq, that Sayyidina Dhul Qarnayn rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi radiyallahu anhu, the famous king Dhul Qarnayn, who wherever he went to conquer those areas, he radiyallahu anhu had an intention to travel in order to gain control over the east and the west. He took some advice from the wise people as to what he should do. Dhul Qarnayn rahmatullahi alayhi said, I think I may be traveling uselessly in order to gain a bit of kingdom, as this world is little, it is mortal and extremely disgraceful. To gain the wealth and authority of this world is neither a great task, nor is its attainment from the highest of achievements. Those wise people, what did they advise him? They said, it would be extremely beneficial to travel in order to raise the word of truth, as this would be a means of attaining the blessings of this world and the hereafter, of this dunya and the akhirah. Upon hearing this, Dhul Qarnayn rahmatullahi alayhi had said, this is surely the best idea. Subhanallah. It is mentioned in the famous book Al-Mu'jam al-Kabir that our beloved Aqa Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam has said, Inna Allah ta'ala yuhibbu ma'ali al-umuri wa yakrahu safsafaha. Indeed, Allah Azza wa Jal loves the greatest of matters and detests the inferior matters. A poet says, do not rush into your matter and keep struggling for it, as the crookedness of a stick is straightened through a determined effort. You put your effort in, you have your direction, you have your goals, inshallah Azza wa Jal, with good intentions, you will achieve it, and with effort as well. The great Sayyidina Imam Azm Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi once said to his very great student, Imam Abu Yusuf rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, you are not intelligent, but your effort and your persistence pushed you forward. Therefore, always stay away from laziness, because laziness is a great calamity and it is wretched. Laziness. This happens to a student. In fact, shaitan will also pour waswasa, will also pour evil whispers. Don't worry, you have some time. You can delay it. Procrastination is the thief of time. Don't forget that. Procrastination, to put off things for later. I will learn this sabak, this lesson later. I'll do this at another time. I'll do it tomorrow. As the wise people have said, that do tomorrow's work today and today's work do it now. If you leave things for later, how do you know that you will reach that later? Ask ourselves. That I'm going to plan for another day. How do I know I'm going to survive today? I will be alive on that day. Allah Azza wa Jal, give us piety. Ameen. Shaykh Imam Abu Nasr Saffar Ansari rahmatullahi alayhi has mentioned, O soul, ya nafs, do not delay in carrying out good deeds, being just and doing favors upon others when you are free. All those who carry out good deeds are envied, whilst each lazy person is afflicted with misfortune. Allah will save us from that. The time is now. The time is now to do good deeds. We are in Darul Amal. We are in the place of actions, of doing actions. And there's no accountability here. True accountability. Real accountability, hisab, kitab, will be on the day of judgment. And there, once a person tastes death, then action time is over. Now, the first stage of the hereafter is the qabr, is the grave. When we are moved from this dunya, this world, to alam-e-barzakh, the world of the grave, which is the barrier between yourself now and qiyamah and the day of judgment. Are we preparing for this? Ask ourselves, are we truly preparing for this? If not, we need to act now and prepare for it. Otherwise, what will happen to us? In comparison to wealth, a person becomes known as a pious person because of his beneficial knowledge, which continues. This continues even after his death. Thus, this is the everlasting life. It is mentioned by Sayyidina Shaykh Zahiruddin Hassan bin Ali rahmatullahi alayhi, who is also known as Marghinani. He has said that the ignorant are such that they are dead before their actual death. And the scholars are such, even after they physically die. After they physically die, they are alive. Subhanallah. As the great scholars have said, many have died before, but their good character has kept them alive today. And many are alive today, but their bad character has made them to perish and to die. Allah will save us from ignorance and from laziness, that we may implement in our life whatever His commandments are. Ameen. Indeed, there are countless other benefits and blessings if we show punctuality in trying to implement on a daily basis, starting with our salah. Because the first action, remember, first action to be questioned about is salah on the Day of Judgment. Is ours up to date? We need to ask ourselves this question, dear viewers and listeners of Madani Channel. If not, if we haven't implemented the rules that Allah Azza wa Jalla has ordered us to do, if we have not implemented the sunnah of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, indeed, who is at loss? Ask ourselves, we are going to die. Every single person knows this. So why do we live our lives like we're never going to die? Why do we live our lives only dedicated to this dunya, to this world, which is transitory? It is passing. These moments are passing. And death comes. The true life, the real life, the everlasting life is of the hereafter. And there's two places there, Jannah and Jahannam, heaven and hell. Where do you want to go? I ask myself this question as well. And I ask you to ask yourself the question, where do I want to go? Everybody will say, I want to go to Jannah. But remember, good deeds is the only way that a person can go on this pathway, on this road. And good deeds will come with knowledge, the pathway of knowledge. If we want to have that pathway to Jannah, we must be on this pathway of knowledge and knowledge of deen. So we can practice, we can implement in our life, and inshallah through the mercy of Allah, we will get entry into Jannah, inshallah. As believers in the oneness of Allah, in being the slaves of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we have great hope through the mercy of Allah, we will get Jannah. But if we disobey Allah and we don't listen to His commands, what will happen to us then? How can we plant the seeds of an apple and expect the fruits of bananas and oranges? It does not happen. Remember, Aqqa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam has stated in a summary of hadith, Ad-dunya mazra'atul akhirah. This world, this dunya is a farm for your hereafter. What are we planting? Good deeds or bad deeds? The harvest of good deeds is Jannah, and the harvest of bad deeds is Jahannam. May Allah Azza wa Jalla save us and our believing families from the fire of hell. May Allah Azza wa Jalla save us from humiliation on the Day of Judgment and from the adhab, the punishment of the grave. May Allah Azza wa Jalla grant us the ability, the understanding, the enthusiasm to practice this beautiful deen of Islam, the beautiful sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Associate yourselves with dawat islami. Inshallah Azza wa Jalla, you too will get this encouragement to practice and to share with others as well. Ameen. Bijahin Nabi al-Amin. Sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Sallu ala al-Habib. Sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
The path of knowledge is the way to Jannah. The path of knowledge is the way to Jannah.